The first time I saw you guys, I was trying to think, it was like 1980. I got this old poster. It was SOA, Minor Threat D.O.A. Now, is that, is it Woodlawn High School that you went to?
Good
yeah, it was in Arlington, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I remember that as being like, just as sort of, like our manager said, oh, you're going to play with these local bands from Washington, D.C., and we said, well, it isn't in D.C., it's out, you know, kind of out in the burbs, and we're wondering where we are. And what are we playing at? And he was the type of guy who would never tell us what was going on, you know, one of those manager types. Go, where are you playing at a high school? Well, at a high school? Why are we playing at a high school? And we got there, and it was like, you know, I don't know, 150 or 200 kids there. It was
that was a big crowd, though.
It was it was a great show, right? So it's
and we came out to see you play a few nights later at the Marble Bar in Baltimore.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think,
collapsed the stage.
Yeah, and some of you guys, we kind of had to put everybody up, so we had everybody staying at different places. Yeah, I mean, those were cool. And then years later, you know, I joined Black Flag, like by the next summer, and
right.
I saw you guys again on the road. Yeah, those days were really cool. Every town had a scene like that for a little while. Non-violent, open-minded, really cool, and then the scene got big and things got different. Then it got real violent. But there's that kind of window there where things were really cool and the scene was very alternative and you could be a different thinker. And, you know, you'd be the guy who wouldn't go out for football because you got beaten up. And those gigs were kind of a place for you to go where everyone would be like, hey, you're cool, you're weird like me. Yeah. You know, that was my attraction to it all, you know.
Yeah, that was the place you could actually be weird without anything happening, and it was just, yeah, I know in Vancouver, people just gravitated towards them. We put on these hall shows, so you get, you know, the voyeurs and the wannabes, but you also get like the sort of pseudo-anarchists and the writers and all that kind of thing. It's all a pretty good mix, I think.
Those are some of my funnest shows I ever went to, you know, were right around the era when I first met you guys in D.C., like when you guys first came through, you know, to my knowledge. You know, I have a tape, I should probably copy it for you. I have a tape of you guys playing one of those, it's either Woodlawn or in Baltimore from that tour. I've got about 5 songs of you on tape. Right. I got it in some tape trade from a friend of mine in D.C., and I forget the sound quality, but
that'd be great to get it.
I'll send it to your P.O. box when I get home this winter.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's like good enough just for your, you know, your shelf, you know.
Yeah, well, it's like if you got something. I mean, in those days, I've kept a lot of stuff, but I wasn't quite the archivist that I am now.
The real Trailblazers, it was like, you know, as far as like going out 90 shows in a year in the van for no money, I said it was Black Flag and D.O.A. You know, and I always cite you guys because I would always look at your tour schedule, and more often than not, you guys are doing more shows a night than we were. You know, the more shows in a month, and I was like, these guys, we're supposed to be better than anybody. You'd see D.O.A. they're still out? Shit. I think we'd all be home. We're like, another 3 months? Let's go. Cool, because all you had was the music. You didn't have any money. You couldn't even have gotten a drug habit if you wanted one. You couldn't afford it. So all you had was the music and maybe a few hours of sleep and some incredible mind-bending overnight drive. And never enough food. But God, the music, it made the music good. Because you took all of that frustration of the day into the music, and that set would more often than not be, you know, a monster. That, like, people don't play like that anymore, you know?
There's a lot of desire. I mean, if you really think about any kind of great artistic pursuit, there's usually like a lot of desperation involved to make that come out in the first place, right?
Keeps it lean, you know? It's the downfall of many an artist, writer, actor, musician, success. You know, and that's kind of the weird irony. You work really hard and you get really good at what you do, and then a bunch of people go, they all agree, they go, he's great, and they all show up and buy the record or go to the thing, and all of a sudden you have a bunch of people around you going, you're the man. The test of the artist in later years to balance the work and the stuff that comes with it. You know, I've had that, it's not a problem for me. I've had that challenge, like in the last few years, because, you know, I'm no longer broke.
Yeah, right.
I'm real far from being broke. How do you still put out vital stuff, you know, when you got money in the bank and a nice car and property? That's the test, you know, and it's a bitch.
Yeah,
that's why I stay out on the road.
Yeah, I think you get, if somehow you end up being completely disconnected from the people, usually the downfall is when you become completely disconnected from the people you started with, or the people that come to see you, and now all of a sudden, if it becomes this elitist thing, then it's really easy to smell that out. That people may still be drawing numbers, but if it's not sort of like believable, then I think a lot of people pick up on that pretty quickly.
And I think a lot of artists makes them miss the days when they wrote songs or did whatever just because there's nothing else, you know. They'd write those lyrics, you know, that they wouldn't have the guts to write now because their life is a little better.
I find a store that has all this stuff. I come out of this place like Santa Claus with this huge bag of domestic items. I feel like such a puss. You know, like, I bought a pot. It's just, that's so weak. But I made the lady know that I was cooking beef products in it. Yeah, I need something for beef stew, beef soup. And she's probably seen it before. Oh, you're just another insecure male afraid of commitment. Ah, she got me.
It's been really important for me never to lose contact with why I do this, the people I do it for, you know, the audience. So that's why I answer the mail. I stay on the road. I do a minimum. I have averaged 100 shows a year for 20 years. And, you know, I'm pretty proud of that, you know. And I've gone without things that I've wanted, you know, like a real relationship and stuff like that, to stay lean and mean and to keep it real for myself. And I've been able to kind of fend off kind of the downfall of being good at what you do in this business, you know? It's kind of weird. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Way you smiled at me. Found down the heat that enveloped me. And what I saw, I like to see. I never knew where evil grew. How turn you into me? How turn you into me? 'Cause I'm a liar, a liar, a liar, a liar.
One of the biggest things these days is like the so-called Generation Xers, like people under 30 and stuff like that, and they're completely apathetic towards politics altogether. And because
they're doing financially really well.
Well, not all of them, though. I'm talking about maybe a bit of the underclass people that, like, you know, students are struggling. I'm not talking so much about people that are already established and making money. I think of, like, people under 30 that are just, you know, can barely, you know, maybe barely afford anything.
Maybe they become apathetic because they kind of wore themselves out on getting mad because nothing really seems to change.
Yeah, but I think that the thing is, like, if it's just kind of getting back to what you're saying about that, if you keep it on a human level, and I think politics is, to me, I just wanted to get your comment on, just sort of comment on my own, that it kind of works when you have people feel like they're have some power within their own neighborhood, and that's to me that's the real politics that changes.
Yeah.
Because the conventional one, if you think about people like, if you go out and vote, no matter which way you slice it, it's the same old baloney. You know, you pick Democrats, Republicans, or up here, you know, you have like 3 or 4 parties to pick from. I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, I think power starts at home, or?
Sure, I think you can really affect a lot of change if you work locally. I mean, if I ever, you know, I would never get into any kind of political thing, but I would definitely love to work in my own community. Either, you know, I would, if I had time off tour, I would try and take, you know, some semi-literate people and get them into reading in my own neighborhood, like that. And that, to me, that's my kind of revolution.
Yeah, right.
That's me going like, no, we're winning. You know, we're going to make some people literate, so they won't be ignorant, so you won't be able to fool them. You know, you can't change the world, but you can change worlds. You can change people's worlds and improve qualities of life around you.
I should have steered away from you. My friend told me to keep clear of you. But something drew me near to you. I never knew where evil grew.
At least in America, a lot of apathy is due to a mediocre culture these people have been have foisted on them mediocre music, mediocre movies, mediocre government, and just a mediocre lifestyle that never really gets hot or cold. It just stays like kind of warm oatmeal. It's just always there, and it's always soft and cushy, and it's always never goes anywhere. If you got people to jolt them awake and go like, look, everything around you is not all right. In fact, it's really screwed up. And what's the answer? You. Not this guy. No one's going to clean up after you. You are the man. And you got to affect change. And it's your duty, and also it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Family man, with your Christmas lights already up. You're such a man when you're putting up your Christmas lights. First on the block, family man. Family man, I want to crucify you to your front door with nails from your well-stocked garage. Family man.
A couple times I saw you last year, one of the main things was you came across, you're very self-effacing, saying, well, I'm only a mediocre talent, which I don't believe that's true. But, but you know what? If you're speaking to the public, if you actually believed in yourself, you could change a whole ton of things.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you just said that, so I'm just
and
agreeing with you.
If more people pulled themselves out, A, they wouldn't be so easily fooled. They wouldn't put so much toxin in their body. They wouldn't eat such bad food all the time. They wouldn't put so much drugs and all this stuff into this beautiful machine. And because, like, when you're doped, you know, when you've eaten food with all this body, you know, with all this fat in it for years, you become manipulatable. You become something that can be told, get in this line, go see that Bruce Willis movie. Okay. You know, here, pick up this rifle, go. Okay. You'll do whatever, you know. And if more people like thinned it out, got leaner, thought more, read more, woke up more, came out of their coma state, and I'm talking about America, all of a sudden they go, whoa, that's been happening under my nose for 5 years? For 50 years? For 150 years? What was I doing? Sleeping, you know, sleeping right through it, and while you're getting bled for your money. And I've been aware, that's what makes me, they go, oh, you're an angry young man. I'm like, you know, if I'm angry, it's a good anger. You should be glad that I'm angry. In fact, you should get a little of it for yourself.
Rolling up to the side, man gets out, comes in, leather jacket, baseball cap on, says Zildjian across the front. That's symbols for drums. He goes, hello, I'm looking for a guy named Henry. I go like, he goes, okay, Henry, hi, I'm your pilot. My name is Eric, and I'm going to fuel this plane up. We're going to turn around and we're going to haul ass to Tulsa. I'm like, okay. At the same time, I'm checking Eric out, like I check out every pilot. I go, Zildjian, what, you have a friend in a band? Oh, no, I'm a drummer. Oh, so you're a drummer and a pilot who's going to be transporting me through the air. Yeah, I'm in a cover band. Danger.
You write books, you do spoken word, you got the Rollins band. I mean, like you said, you've been doing like, what's that, 2,000 shows you said over the last
20 years?
20 years? Yeah, that's a lot of shows, and a lot of time and effort into it. Now, just the question, I kind of think back, did you ever think that singing in a punk rock band when you were about 17 or 18 back in D.C. would lead into this great, to me, doing this kind of stuff, it's a passport to travel the world and meet a bunch of great people and see some great places. Did you ever think that? I never thought it would be like this.
No, I never thought I'd earn a living. I never thought I'd go anywhere. I thought I'd be working, you know, same job all the time. Nothing, no problem with working a job, no problem there, but I just thought I'd be like, I never thought I'd see Europe or Australia, or, you know, never thought I'd be on a stage with a mic in my hand.
Yeah.
Touring. I mean, it was a revelation to tour. I've never gotten over it. I still get excited, you know.
Yeah,
the gigs tonight, you're like, oh man, I'm playing tonight. That's where it's at. And the people you meet, I wouldn't trade a day of it. Even on the worst day with no food, a bad border crossing, and no monitors and bad PA, and a thieving promoter, I wouldn't trade a second of it. Because it's got to be better than working at Burger King. You know, it's got to be better than a life of alcoholism and self-hatred. And yeah, we're very fortunate. And the way you can pay that back is to take all this stuff you've learned and all this good energy and use it as a positive thing and radiate it outward. That's the only way to really pay that back. You know? And otherwise, it's just being very hedonistic, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, if you're just...
Well, you know, you got to have a little of that.
Well, yeah, if you don't, it's like, yeah,
you know?
that's it.
It's
Sure.
what gives James Brown his swing.
Every chance you get on stage, you should get up and try and inspire somebody, or at
Absolutely.
least shake them, make them think a little bit, right?
Yeah, and it's fun to do that, and it's not for everybody. Not everyone is cut out for the stage.
No.
You know, some people, they got no choice. Like Iggy Pop, where else are you going to put that guy but on a stage?
Yeah, no, he's
You know, nowhere else to
the
go.
most natural, right? He's
Yeah.
he's just
For me,
great.
I can't think of any other thing to do, you know, that I want to do, you know, but be up there doing that thing.